We had to have that business. And so again, as I say, illusion of inclusion. Once you started jumping across that fence, you start looking back, people start getting forgotten about. Right. And so just like slavery separated families, so does the prison system separates family. It's still the same form of slavery. So it just switched from, you know, the ships and the boats and all that, and the plantation and the cotton fields to the prison plantation because of the traps, of the music, of everything that's said. And I'm not blaming one thing or the other. It's a combination of stuff. But I think we lost that sense of community where we can just grab a young brother. Hey, man, let me tell you something, bro. Put the pants up, man. Hey, let me tell you this right here. Do this. Hey, let me tell you this right here. Hey, why you stand out here all day? If you got all the energy to stand out here all day, you can stand up and do this. You can work. You can do this. I tell you what, matter of fact, I got a job for you. I own this particular business.
There you go.
So if we have ownership, see, we have accusations, but we don't have accomplishments. We don't have ownership. We don't manufacture or produce. So we can tell this young brother, you need to get off the corner and do something with your life. But at the same time, can you give me a job?
Right, and see, and that's what it is. Because a lot of people already know, you know, they got problems or they got issues, like all of us as human beings. Who doesn't, bro? You know, we all. But what the other side of it is that when you don't have proper knowledge and proper guidance, you lost. You know, have you ever been lost? Your GPS, you know what I mean?
You're nervous and something going hard at the pitter pattering.
Exactly. So that's the state. You know what I mean? So you going to and fro. You know, you grasping for straws, man. Whatever the next thing you think is right, because this sounds good. So you know, that's them emotions again. You just going off of your feelings. And let me I want to kind of retract a little bit because you know when we think about now getting back to this, I kind of want to talk about the especially the black male. Because a lot of times we growing up in a household where we don't have a father figure. Mm-hmm. And we need that balance because we need the woman and we need the man. But society is, you know, really pushing this
independent.
The single woman, you know, the single thing.
Don't need nobody.
You know what I mean? And we see these on Facebook posts. So we don't want, you know, hey, I don't need no man. I can do it by myself. But when you go back to Egyptian history, we talk about history again, they believe everything was in unity, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're talking about the community, right? Communing to work together.
COMMUNIT.
There you go. So when they took, you know, when on welfare, you know, when they made the Section 8, they took the man out the house, bro. It's going back to with the slavery thing. Mm-hmm. Okay, they took him out the house. You can't have no man living with you. So what's going to happen? Now you're raising these boys, and we running by this feminine stuff is because it's in a woman nature to you know, to be nurturing and merciful. But see, you had a man, he'd be like, hey, boy, you know, you toughen up. There you go.
Babies. So, the wussification of America. Big old babies.
Exactly. So here you are, you babying the boy. So then you ask him when he get white. Oh, that boy sorry. Okay, but he's been babied and pampered and nurtured and never was shown that way to being a young man and knowing how to, you know, giving the responsibilities. You know, and this happens a lot, bro. And you know, quite a bit. And it's promoted. You rarely see, and I made this statement before to one of my friends. We was talking. I say you rarely see a black father being promoted as wholesome. Even with Serena and Venus, mm-hmm. You know, her father was one taught them in the hood, in Compton. But they never really talk about him. You know, they show his image, but they never really talk about him. But when it comes to a single black woman, you know, they fall for the trap too. They be like, I did it on my own. I'm the hero, the shero. Yeah, she's the hero. I did it on my own. Mm-hmm. There you go.
You can do it on your own too.
Right. So just the breakdown of the family again, like you say, pitting each other against. So now we have a situation where these males and then we see this in feminization. We already talked about that before, me and you, was about how they trying to emasculate us anyway. That's why you had in slavery them cutting off the scrotum. And you ever heard how people talk about, I'm going to cut off his nuts?
Yes.
You need your nuts cut off. See, all that language comes from back in the day, you know? Same thing. Just same mentality.
Yeah, it's intimidation, man. Because again, if I've killed you, right, and if I've hanged you and I've killed you and you are officially dead, what do your nuts got to do with anything?
Right.
Why?
Right.
What I'm gonna do
there
with
you
that?
Go.
What is the purpose of me cutting that off? If I'm gonna just want to cut something, can I cut a finger? Can I cut a toe?
Right.
Why must I cut that?
There
Why is that important to me?
See,
what mindset do I have? Right? What's my mentality when I'm thinking of that part of you anyway? And I've killed you, and I'm thinking of that part. Oh, it's psychology, man. Again, it's all psychology. The same reason why they left them there, hanging there for a while, just to send a message. You see that? That's what happened if you do this again. So this stuff is that a lot of people don't really believe this thing called post-traumatic slave disorder. A lot of people don't really believe that. And when I talk about that, oh, that was so long ago, that doesn't this. But you see the results of this right now, man. You definitely see the results of it. And the truth gets just thrown out the window as crap, and people buy into fiction. But those that buy into that fiction, into that lie or whatever, the system benefits from that. You know, and any system that works, and people say all the time the system is broke. No, the system is working exactly how it's supposed to be working. And those that are winning from the system are supposed to be winning. Those that are losing from this system, that's how the system was designed, for you to lose.
And like you said, we make a grave mistake. By saying that let bygones be bygones.
They're not bygones.
No, we're not. We because this stuff you see, that's why it's coming up again, you know. I mean, and so we have to reflect on history to see where it guides us in the future, or else history repeat itself, whether good or bad. So this stuff is, you know, when we got all these dynamics, bro, like what we describing, I don't see how people could think that, why wouldn't we be in a state like this? Why wouldn't our youth be in a state like this when we got people sitting back just talking about their pants and talking about, not even trying to understand them? I even had a thing with Bill Cosby, you know, and I respect Bill Cosby, all the great things he did. But, you know, like I said, we're not above criticism. When he got on television that time, and not talking to our audience, because see, we have this thing, we talk about each other in mixed company.
To other people.
Well, you know, to other people who don't care and who want to also push this agenda, right? Like you were saying, they say we predators, and look, I told you, even their own kind saying this, right? So he got on there and said we need to learn to use proper English and all that. Well, no, everything has a place. You know, it's culture for us to talk slang and music and things of that. That's something that we should be also proud of, that we have our own cultural ebonics, right? You know, because we do this, but it's a time and place for everything. But just because I talk slang, right? But just because I talk slang doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. So he made a blanket statement, but then that was hypocritical, because when you look at the Fat Albert, what was the guy was doing?
He couldn't even talk.
There you go. So there you go. So, you know, don't. I think people, you know, now and we need to accept that we have faults in it, because a lot of times we don't want to accept our own criticism of our community, but don't get in front of mixed company that they don't really care about us and talk about us. Talk to us about us.
That's the key.
And, you know,
that's the key. You're right about that, man. It's just like, you know, when people say, well, I can say the N-word to my people, but they can't say it. So then why do you say it? And the thing is, why do you think that one word hung around for so long and still holds the same kind of disdain that it holds? Why do you think that word still hung around? So why would you even want to associate with something that has some nastiness associated with it? Why would you want to associate with that? That's like taking a bath and putting on the same clothes you took off. Why would you want to associate with that? Why would you want to do that? If that's dirty and that's funky, that's old, that's something that you'll get mad at. If somebody called you or somebody else of another race, but we still use that and we try to make it, and then we'll say, well, we black and we just turn bad into good or whatever. Okay, how's that working for you, though? Okay, we took chitlins and made it into the delicacy. We took pork and made it into this. Okay, but you still high blood pressure with too much salt. So it's still, there's levels to this thing, and we gotta realize, why do we do what we do? Why do we automatically not want to help, not want to be in communion with one another, not want to give good business if you're dealing with a black business? You know, so why do we purposely want to do those things? There's a psychology behind that, and we have to dig deep. And again, we talk about from the streets, we got to catch them right there and say, look, young
right,
brother,
right,
I understand what you're doing right now, but I'm coming to you in love. There's a better way to do that. Now, those that's going to
right.
receive it, great. Those that's not, you can't help them because everybody's not on the same level. And it doesn't mean that
There
they're
you go.
lost. It just don't mean they ain't got
Right.
it yet.
Right, and like you said, it's a process, and I remember, man, like, and people be shocked and surprised, and you know, you don't have to go that far, but it happened to me, and I don't apologize for it because it was part of my process of growing up. In prison, that's why I've seen a lot of young brothers, you know, start reflecting and gaining knowledge, and because now they sitting still, so they got a lot of time to think, and you know that really changed their perception on things once they started reading and they really started looking at this stuff for what it is. And amongst conversations, we had think tanks in there, man. It ain't what people think. A lot of times, you know, we look at television, we see just the killings and all the other stuff going on and madness, and that's in there too. But a lot of times, it's a lot of that education. What we doing right now, bro. It's a lot of them brothers out there now, and you know, that's doing what we're doing, but we don't want you have to go off in there to get what we getting, you know, or what we talking about. We want to catch them out here. But one thing I learned off in there as well is that a lot of times we don't go with love, man. You know, and we don't go trying to show these brothers love, you know, and people can feel, man, when you real or not, bro. People gonna know off the bat if you faking and shaking. You know what I mean?
The muscle.
So they're going to reject us.
Yeah,
they're going to reject us, you know? Right. They're going to reject us. They're going to reject us, man. Like, when they said rap in the last 10 years, like, I do music, you know? I don't like some of the music. I understand why they talking like this, because man's got a dollar bill. I understand the big machine, like I was talking about before. I understand they can't even say a lot of stuff they want to say because these big industries, you know, the industry on the corporations telling them, hey, you need to talk about this because this is what sells, you know. So you still on a plantation,
you
know, until you get your own. So we understand. They talking about their little reality. So this is different from our reality we was growing up. People said the same thing about us. But, man, if we just keep pumping this knowledge, bro, just keep sharing and setting an example. And trying to reach, go and try to reach. You know, you ain't gotta have no big stage and be no big speaker. A lot of people try to be Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. We ain't gotta relive that like that in that mode because that time has passed.
Just speak to him.
Right. Just snatch a brother up. You know, I used to ride through my hood, bro. When I go to Crockett, and I still do it. Man, I ride through the hood. I see a youngster, bro, that I kind of know of. What's up? You know, hey man,
rapper taste with him.
Jump in the car with him, make a block. I take him to OK's or something, bro. Just get you something to drink. But I'm also dropping some knowledge on them at the same time.
Exactly.
You know. So I got an uncle, man, that's on drugs. You know, a lot of times we talk about our families, this, that, and the other. Man, I love my uncle. When I see him, I pick him up. You know, make a block with me. Take him, get him something to eat. You know, get him out that zone. And that's what we need to start doing. Like you say, if more of us did this and start being forgiving and merciful and compassionate to our youth, then, man, we will see a lot of change, man. We will see them come to church and other places of meetings. That's why the church is empty with young people, because it's you know, you constantly talking about things that they can't relate to and condemning them instead of inviting them in and speaking on things that they can relate to as well. So we losing the young and we dying out. We getting older.
Yep.
So who going to carry on this legacy?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's why you see a lot of what you see, because there's a lot of anger. What I do when I talk to a lot of youngsters, the sentiment that I get from a lot of them is that they're angry and they're upset. And what they tell me is that they're upset because they feel because they're young, their opinion is not valid. Because they're young, they don't care about, you know, what they're dealing with and what they're going through. They don't have feelings of ups and downs as well. And so they feel kind of like insignificant. A lot of them that I've talked to, because I chop it up with them all the time, man. And so what they feel is that they don't count. And so if they feel like they don't count, why even care? Because they feel like their caring is even in vain. Because they, you know, and so as you say, we gotta change that. We gotta be able to come to them, not because I've gotten older and everything is just so perfect. Hey, been there, done that, and still making mistakes, man. We gotta realize that we still messing up every day and trying to figure this thing out.